My name is Anouk van Dijk. I'm a Dutch choreographer, but I work internationally. I moved back to the Netherlands, relocated back to the Netherlands 2 years ago, and before that I lived for 9 years on a big island called Australia. So in the Australian context, my neighbors were New Zealand and Indonesia. And then here in Europe, of course, my neighbors are the Germans from a Dutch perspective. And neighbors in that sense also have shifted because neighbors through the algorithms of the internet are also, on one hand, your kindred spirits that you find online. And on the other hand, what the algorithm decides you should see. And now with AI around the corner, I don't know who our neighbors are going to be, so I find that a bit scary. So it's this mix of the gentleness and the power in you. You see what I mean? So it's both vulnerable and strong. And so they play a little bit with that duality they have. We all have, I guess. Gentle is the power, came from a deep interest that I had in showing how graceful we can be in moments of hardship and moments of challenge. I come from the Netherlands, where people can be quite blunt and quite direct and quite harsh to each other. Not intended to hurt each other, it's just the way the culture works and the language is constructed. In Australia, I worked with people who had this courtesy with each other and had this beautiful inner delicacy. And I found that very inspiring. And then through that lens, look into, okay, how can I bring the kind of punch from my society and the delicacy and the elegance from what I experienced in Australia, how can I bring that together and how to deliver something in communication with someone else with grace and elegance and to avoid conflicts to arise. Everyone wants peace, period. I really believe that. So if conflict arises, it comes from deep misunderstandings between people. When I work with performers, I don't necessarily look into confronting them with things or shaking them up, but the topics that I take or the angle of movement research we do does confront the dancers with their own habits and their own ways of doing things. So this creates a bit of an inner conflict in a dancer because they have to split their minds and their attentions to different places in the room, in their bodies. But there lies the beauty. So in this disruption, this little moment of disruption, we really see the performer and the person performing.
Now, clack, clack,
Tick.
clack, clack.
Tick, tick.
And now, Jack, I think you have to put the weight there, like this. She can put your body, and now you follow her. Follow, 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 follow. And now here, embrace her already. Yeah. Yeah, this will be nice.
Hi, I'm Giuseppe Spota, artistic director of Mir Dance Company since 4 years. I decided to bring back this production after 7, 8 years, and I still feel that this can be seen, this choreography can be seen, and bring me back in such a beautiful moment of my life. So I'm also curious to see if now I can connect again with those emotions.
You have to get closer to your partner, okay? Ta, ta, oh, yeah. Yeah, okay? Ready? And...
The piece Blank is about, I think it's about a journey of life. All of us, we begin so pure, and by meeting people, by falling, by learning, you start to write down who you are, and you put down more sentence, you put down colors, and they take more the knowledge of the life by, I repeat, meeting people and get in contact with the others.
Yeah, and always stay in contact.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good question, because who I consider my neighbor in this moment, that I live here in Gelsenkirchen, but at the same time I constantly go and come back. Even my neighbors here in my house, I cannot really consider my neighbors, because we meet every maybe 2 months, and they even say to me, oh, it's such a long time that we don't meet. Actually, maybe I can say that my neighbors are the people here in the theater, you know. I would like to believe that we can achieve the peace without having conflict, but I see even sometimes between friends, between friendship, you know, when you start a little fight before you bring back the peace, you need to have this, yeah, more than conflict, I think more facing each other and find the good compromise to listen to each other.
So I put a bit of music just to have and I guide you for this. Okay.
So I think how we communicate, all of us in the room, in a dance piece, and to build the choreography, is really important that we enter into all the details. I always say, guys, nobody can enter in our brain, so also to my brain. As much as I can give picture and visions, we have to allow the person to come inside of the brain. And I think for the audience it will be special to see choreographies that we have done for other companies, bring into Münster. All of us, we never met, all four choreographers. So I think all of this reunion will bring us closer, and a special evening for the audience.
Not bad, not bad. Huh?
My name is Lillian Stillwell, and I am the dance director and chief choreographer at Theater Münster. My neighbors, I would say I have two groups of neighbors. One is a concrete group. They're the people who live around me in Münster. I'm the mother of a small child, and we're surrounded by 3 generations of people, children, grandparents, parents, and we watch the kids ride their bikes around the neighborhood, and I know them all by first and last name, so I have a very concrete neighborhood. And additionally, I would say I have more of an international neighborhood of artists that come with me wherever I go. They're the people from the dance community and art community in the US, in Basel, Switzerland, my second homeland, and in all the different theaters and countries that I've worked. And we're a neighborhood of people exchanging ideas, motivations, questions about why and how to create dance today.
7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The overarching inspiration for this evening is the piece of Westphalia. And this piece was radical because it was created by the physical act of moving towards each other in order to transport messages of peace back and forth. So people walking or riding horses between Münster and Osnabrück. I started to research other types of peace accords and landed on the Oslo peace accords from 1993 and was struck also by the physical act of moving towards each other, but even more than that, the personal act, because this peace process happened not between big parties, not at a big table, but between intimate individuals who were in a remote place, brought together to have a series of discussions in secrecy.
And the character also has 2 parts, like one is like how he behaves representing Palestine, and one how he behaves in the back room, like just as he's himself. Yeah, this is a very, very good point. I mean, we all have this, the professional side, the personal side.
And then it's like to be a character, you could add something, or think about which part do you have to leave away to become that person.
What was unique about this process was that They were not only discussing the political issues, but also living for those few days over a period of time, living together, eating together, drinking together, telling jokes. So the potential for the personal to open up the possibility of peace is very intriguing to me. Peace is like balancing. You never are completely stable on one leg. You're always making small adjustments in order to maintain the balance. Confronting your own imagination, prejudices, past work, perception of others while trying to put an idea into the world. This is already a disruption because you're stirring the soup in order to try to create something new. But also with humans, I mean, in our company, I think there are only 2 people from the same country. So we're all from so many countries and we have different perceptions of time, of space, of communication. So there are always obstacles to be overcome in order to understand each other. And the conflicts that are non-violent, that are perhaps interpersonal or irritations through misunderstandings, cultural misunderstandings, I don't think we can get rid of these, and I actually see these as potential ways to improve the global or interpersonal situations that we're living in. Because through these disruptions and misunderstandings, we can come closer together and keep this balancing act happening.
My name is Marguerite Donlon. Actually, everybody calls me Maggie in Germany. I'm Irish. I'm an international choreographer. I was a dancer. I guess I still am a dancer at heart. I love doing my thing because it brings me together with very diverse people.
When you know what you're doing, you can have a lot of fun. Then you don't have to think about it. It should just be in your body then, you know?
Yeah. Who are my neighbors? This is a really good question because I come from Ireland. I come from the south of Ireland. So in Ireland, my neighbors would be the north of Ireland. I grew up knowing that my neighbors were in conflict, at war. And then my other neighbors would be England, which, you know, was kind of the root of the conflict. Then, as my dream was to become a dancer, the only possibility, the only place I could go at that time was to England to study, which made me realize that, you know, conflict or no conflict, your neighbors are very important.
6, 7, 8,
conflict is really important to be able to get to the realness of the people you work with. It's painful. I actually hate conflict. But if you don't enter into that conflict, you stay very much on a superficial level. So but what's really, really important is to be able to go into the conflict and come out of it. And if you manage to get out, I think you have the basis of a really good situation. I mean, you can build so many things from there.
When they know what they're doing, it makes sense because you'll see that when you move, it sets them moving, and vice versa.
Yeah, cool. I chose this choreography for NACHBARSCHAFT because I felt it's almost like my calling card. It's called Rough Kels. It's a pun on rough as in tough, but also they wear these typical Tudor ruffs. And these ruffs are typically English. The kilts are Irish. So it's all about these mixing. And it works very well on different dancers. And it's really important for me that I can bring a piece to a company where they can take ownership of it. So they're not just like doing it exactly as it was, but this piece allows development and artistic interpretation from the dancers. Just imagine if you went into a cafe or a pub, because it's an Irish piece, so I suppose we have to think about a pub. And you sat in a corner and you observed all these different personalities just coming together and mingling. And what happens when two people come together, and what happens when a third person comes into that space. So it's just the interaction of people and a little bit crazy because it kind of gives you the Irish feeling, and so it's just about life.